Look at simplifying fractions. Let's start with the warm-up. Solve for b, and it should say solve for x. Okay, so we have 5 minus parentheses x plus 2 equals 30. Now when we're solving for a variable, remember we're going to use opposite order of operations. So here we have this 5, and then we have minus this x plus 2, and really this, whenever you see minus parentheses, this is like an invisible one right here that you could distribute. So really we have an adding of 5, we have a multiplying by -1, and we have the stuff inside the parentheses. So first step, we're actually going to subtract to get rid of the adding. So we'll subtract 5 from each side first. And we'll get -1 times x plus 2 equals 25. You could distribute. We could have distributed from the first step, but I feel like it's easier to get rid of this -1 that's being multiplied. Instead of distributing, that would save us an extra step. So the next step, we are going to get rid of the multiplying by dividing by -1. And we will have x plus 2, and I can drop the parentheses now that I got rid of that -1, equals -25. And then the last step, we'll subtract 2 from each side, and that's our parentheses here. And we'll get x equals -27. Remember, you can check your answer by plugging in. We can do -27 plus 2 is -25, times -1 is 25, and 5 plus 25 is 30. So you can check your answer by plugging back in for x and making sure both sides are equal. So again, our goal today is simplifying fractions. Imagine this rectangle as a candy bar. Divide it into fourths. Okay, so let's divide it into fourths first. Let's say that this is my knife right here, so I'm going to divide it into equal parts. All right, so we're going to divide it into fourths. We have 4 pieces. And then divide each fourth in half. So I'm going to divide each fourth in half. Okay. And how many pieces do we have? We have 8 pieces, and if I was eating 1 piece, I would be eating 1 out of the 8. So mathematically, we can represent this as 1/4 times 1/2. And if I'm eating one of these pieces, I'm eating 1/8. So to multiply multiply fractions, you're going to multiply straight across, multiply the numerator by the numerator, which is the top number times the top number, and multiply the denominator by the denominator, which is the bottom number times the bottom number. So 1 times 1 is 1, 4 times 2 is 8. So if we divide a candy bar into fourths and then into halves, we've divided them into eighths. So let's try a few examples. All right, so multiply the top times the top, the numerator times the numerator. We're going to get 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 4 is 12. Can you reduce this fraction? Well, we can divide 6 and 12, each by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So 6 over 12 is the same as 1/2. Okay, there's an easier way to do this, though. Well, actually, we'll come back to this problem. Okay, let's solve the following. What is 5 divided by 5? How many times does 5 go to 5? 1 time. What is 11 divided by 11? How many times does 11 go into 11? Once. X divided by x is 1. 3x divided by 3x is 1. What is any number divided by itself? It is 1. Any number goes into itself 1 time. So another way to multiply this is, remember this is 2 times 3 over 3 times 4. And we know that 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we could have just canceled that. We have a 3 on the top, a 3 on the bottom. And we'll get 2 over 4. Another way we could have done this as well is 2 divided by 2 times 2. And we have this 2 right here and a 2 right here. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we're left with 1/2. So if you have any number that's the same on the top and the bottom, you can cancel that because we'll know that equals 1. If you have any number that goes into another number, we can reduce that as well. So let's practice a few of these simplifying fractions. We have 5 over 8 times 2 over 10. Now another way to think about this is 5 over, and 8 is the same as 4 times 2, so times 2 over, and 10 is the same as 5 times 2. All right, so you look for anything that's the same on the top and the bottom, so we can divide this 5 and this 5, this 2 and this 2, or we could have done these two. And we're left with a 1 on top and an 8 on the bottom. So if we were to multiply this, 5/8 times 2/10, it would reduce to 1/8. Let's try another one. We have 7 over 12. Another way I can write that is 7 over 4 times 3. And that equals 8 I can write as 4 times 2. And 14 I can write as 7 times 2. Cancel anything that's the same on top and bottom, and this should have been times. So you have a 4 on the top, a 4 on the bottom. Same with your 7s. Same with your 2s. So this is the same as 1/3. How about this one right here? We have an x on the top and an x on the bottom. And then you multiply straight across. 2 times 1 is 2. 5 times 1 is 5. So this is 2/5. But this one's 6 times 7x over 12 is the same as 6 times 2. So I can cancel 6 from top and bottom, and I get 7x over 2. Okay, let's try a few more. We're just simplifying fractions here. Here we have a 9. I can write a 9 as a 3 times a 3 over x. Times a 2 times x over 6 is the same as 3 times 2. Cancel anything that's the same on the top and the bottom. The x's can go, the 2's can go, the 3's can go, so this is the same as 3. 3 over 1 are 3. The next one we have 9 over 4x times 8 can be written as 4 times 2. And I can cancel the 4's. We multiply straight across, and we get 18 over x. Let's try the next one. We have 1 over x times x squared can be written as x times x. And now I can cancel 1x from the top and 1 from the bottom. And our final answer is x. And our last one here, and this is what we'll be doing for your assignment, just simplifying fractions. I have a 12 on the top and a 12 on the bottom. I can rewrite x squared as x times x, so I can cancel 1 from top and bottom. And then I go straight across, and I'll have 7 over x. So your assignment today is to simplify fractions. Any number divided by itself is 1, so you're going to try to cancel the 1s. It'll help to rewrite things, I think, in terms of the factors, and we'll practice a little bit more tomorrow.